This story comes to us from WSVN.com. Well, a former Miami Gardens police officer has learned his fate after being found guilty of battery during a 2020 rough arrest that was caught on camera. Jordy Martel faced Miami-Dade Circuit Judge Marissa Tinkler Mendez as she announced a sentence and said this is a case of abuse of authority. Now listen to his sentencing. Martel, who's 33, was sentenced to 30 days in jail. He must also complete 250 hours of community service by speaking at schools, followed by 18 months of probation. So his community services for this cop who was found guilty of battery during a rough arrest, his community services is to speak at schools to kids. Yeah, that's who I want talking to my kid, is some corrupt cop that beats people. I mean, he was convicted of battery. Come on now. So that's, I don't know. Get them while they're young, they say. After a 2-day trial back in June of this year, in which Martel was accused of placing his knee on a woman's neck, he was found guilty of 1 count of battery with a taser and 1 count of trespassing. Trespassing, he wasn't even supposed to be there. The victim in the case, Safia Satchel, was in court for his sentencing. She said, he changed me as a person, mentally and physically, and I've accepted due to his actions, I'll never be the same. Well, no, you're going to have PTSD probably too. The case stemmed from the January 14th, 2020 takedown, so it was before all the riots and stuff, outside Tootsie's Cabaret. Martel was called there after a report of a confrontation between Satchel and security. Officer-worn body camera and cell phone video show Martel as he pulled Satchel from her car, placing his knee on her neck as she lay on the ground. They love that. Satchel was shocked with a taser twice, and she was pregnant at the time. You don't tase a pregnant woman.
Warning. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I got knee on her neck. Get back!
It's difficult to watch as Safia Satchel is repeatedly tased after being pulled from her car while an officer's knee is on her neck. It happened in January in the parking lot of Tootsie's Cabaret. Former Miami Gardens police officer Jordy Yanis Martel is accused of giving false information on his report and using excessive force.
A jury ruled Martel improperly deployed his taser on the woman he was arresting. He was found not guilty on 3 other charges of battery, which included using excessive force by using his knee on her neck, and 2 counts of official misconduct. So he did a plea deal. Hey, look, we won't worry about the knee on the neck if you just take, the guilty plea for the taser. Boy, these prosecutors, they're willing to give it up, ain't they, just to get that victory chalk. Before sentencing, he told Tinkler Mendez that he takes responsibility for his actions. They always say that. I take responsibility. Well, you only take responsibility now because you got caught. You didn't take responsibility back in 2020 when you did it. It took almost 4 years for you to take responsibility. 3.5 years it took you to take responsibility. He says, Martel, I acted in good faith. I never intended to harm Miss Satchel. I never intended to place her under arrest. I was just doing my job, and I do regret a couple of things. He says, I never intended to place her under arrest. I was just doing my job. Yeah, you know where we've heard that from before, right? Show me your papers, or I will release the dog. Tinkler Mendez says we have to protect our officers as much as they protect us, but on that day, Mr. Jordy Martel was not protecting anyone.
Once forcibly removed from the car, Martel took Miss Satchel to the ground, And once on the ground, Martel allegedly used excessive force by putting his knee on Miss Satchel's neck and drive tasing her 2 times.
Miami-Dade State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle said in the report, Martel said Satchel was resisting arrest, forcing him to use his taser twice. Investigators say the video tells a very different story.
Martel states that Satchel continued to fight by kicking and punching, and the video allegedly reflects that at the time of the first drive stun by Martel, Satchel was on her back, on the ground, with Martel's knee on her neck.
Then she was tased a second time.
At that point, she was not kicking the officers. And at the time of the second drive stun, the situation had not changed. She was still not kicking the officers.
Satchel and her attorney, Jonathan Jordan, reacted to the sentence soon after. She said, "I feel like justice was served somewhat." I get you. He is serving a little bit of jail time, so I'm thankful for that. Jordan, the attorney, said, "A jury and this honorable court have sent a message that it's not okay for an officer to rip a woman out of her car and throw her on the ground and tase her for doing nothing wrong." Martel worked an off-duty security job at the time of the incident, and he will have to start serving his time within the next 2 weeks. Satchel said she's still waiting for an apology. Well, don't keep waiting because your hair is going to turn gray waiting for that apology. Bet.